Hello, everyone. Sorry that this took so long to make. I really just didn't feel like recording. But I'm here now, so let's just get on to what I'm talking about. I just finished playing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, and it was more fun than I thought it would be. So, one reason why this took so long to make, I tried to do something different again. I tried to go more in depth in the story and talk about each certain thing throughout the story, like graphics or gameplay and whatnot, and it was just taking way too long. So, I found a much simpler format to make my scripts. Just do this. Bullet points, get straight to the point, ramble on about points. I'm just gonna wing this. So the story of Indiana Jones in general, I knew about it. An explorer with a whip who was just looking for ancient artifacts and whatnot. I know I've seen the movies. The last one I've seen was Kingdom of the Crystal Skull when it came out. And that was it. So to give me a bit of a refresh, I rewatched all the old ones. Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, Last Crusade, and even Kingdom of the Crystal Skull just to see how it held up. It actually wasn't that bad, I don't think. CGI was shit, but I had fun watching it. Then Dial of Destiny, I didn't feel like watching. It's much later on. It doesn't matter. But that was all just to give me a bit of a refresh on who Indy was, what his stories are about, and how he should be. So let's get into a story recap. Indiana Jones is back home at his college campus where he is a teacher that I always forget, and somebody breaks in and steals his cat. More specifically, his cat Mummy. And the person who steals this is a giant of a man, played by Tony Todd. May that man rest in peace. So Indy fights him, and loses, obviously. Then he wakes up and sets off on his adventure. He wants to go find his cat, and more importantly, find out why they took his cat. And so they find a pendant that leads them to the Vatican. So in the Vatican, he discovers a secret order of the Giants, called the Nephilim. And he also meets Gina, a journalist who is looking for her sister. She and Indy have common interests, so they team up. And at the same time, there's a giant blimp in the sky, or Zeppelin, whatever you want to call it. And in it is Nazis. And Emmerich Voss, who is the big bad of the game. A German archaeologist who is kind of like Indy, but German. And evil. And Gina is sure that the Nazis took her sister because she is an expert in ancient languages. And the language of this Nephilim, even Indy doesn't understand it. And that man can read almost every language. And so Indy is able to find his mummy with Gina. But at the same time, Voss comes in, finds all the other mummies he was looking for too, and breaks them open. Must be heartbreaking on this man. But inside was a stone key, and inside other mummies were even more stone keys. So that's what the Nazis were looking for, and now Indy has his new goal. Stop whatever the Nazis are doing. Again. So the Nazis have about 13 or 14 keys here, and they only need a few more to complete their goal. So Indy and Gina hitch a ride with them on their way to Giza. At the same time, Indy explains what's going on here to Gina, and more importantly, to us. The Nazis are after the Great Circle. So the Giant Circle is a hypothesis that there are landmarks around the world that form a perfect circle. And at these landmarks were these keys. And Voss has most of them, so there's only a few left. And Giza is one of those locations. And in Giza, Indy's able to deduce where the key is first, find it, solve the puzzles, and get it before the Nazis. But the Nazis get it after Indy is taking a bit of a sand bath. But he overhears that they're going out to the Himalayas. They have another key up there, and that's where they're going next. And on the Himalaya mountains is a giant submarine ship. I couldn't even guess how this thing got here. And so through exploring the ship, they find Gina's sister dead, and also clues that she might have been working with the Nazis, not against. They also find the key that the Nazis had there, and as the ship is going down, not in water, just down the mountain, Indy pieces everything together. Indy says a word, and it teleports them to Shanghai. I always seem to forget that in Indiana Jones movies, there's a supernatural or magical aspect. Yeah, I just forgot, and this really surprised me. And they are now in the lovely Shanghai, where, there's a war going on. So yeah, after a really cool action scene, they're able to get a plane, escape, and now they're on their way to the last location, Siam. I'll talk about this place later. I'll just let you know. I fucking hated it. So they're able to find the stone here first again, and this time team up with the giant, Locust, who has a couple run-ins with them throughout the game, but they team up with them to protect the stones and get out. But also Gina was taken by the Nazis, but now Indy and Locust follow them to get Gina back and to stop them from whatever they're doing. And they go to Iraq at these ziggurats. Locust brings his giant buddies with them, they attack the Nazis, Indy rescues Gina. And while Indy is more than happy to just leave right now, Gina convinces him, no, we gotta see this thing through. So they go find Voss, and inside the ziggurat, they find Noah's Ark, which kind of came out of left field. I had no idea that was gonna come here. But everybody gets captured, even the giant, and Voss's plan is coming to fruition. He wants to use the Ark to travel around the world and dominate. This part really confused me. I get the Nazis just want power. What is this power other than sending a ship all the way around the world? Does it just like crash land? It's cool having a power where it's like back in the 1930s where it would take like probably 20 hours to get around half of the world. You could just instantly go there, but you would just crash land the boat wherever you go, right? That's what happened in the mountains. What happened in Shanghai. That just confused me on what their goal was. But Locust is mumbling some crap about God and chosen ones, and Indy pieces it together. Voss isn't a chosen one, and God shows what he thinks about the Nazis. So another big flood happens, like the Noah Ark story, as usual. Big fight breaks out. Voss shows off his karate. Gina fights this henchman who really didn't have a story other than he had a mask. I don't even know what was under the mask. Face burns, scars, who knows? They never say anything about him. And Locust is trying to take control of the ship. And at the end of the fight, like every other single Indiana Jones movie, the main bad guy dies by the power he wanted the most. And with just Locust, Indy, and Gina left, Locust says, "Get the fuck out." They get out, and Locust goes bye-bye with the ship. And if you get the secret ending, you'll see he takes it to Antarctica, I think. And so Gina leaves Indy to go finish her report. Hopefully they'll meet each other again, even though Indy still has feelings about Marion, which is sprinkled throughout the story. And so this movie happens after Raiders, before Last Crusade. So he clearly was with Marion at the end of Raiders. Then they just kind of broke it off. Something about he couldn't escape his past. I don't know. But yeah, that's the story. It was kind of an average Indiana Jones story. It was okay. It was good. But now we'll talk about the actual game itself. First off, the graphics looked amazing. They did a really good job with this game. All the environments were just beautiful. The Vatican was such a bright, colorful place. Giza was such a hot looking place. You could just see the steam coming off everything. The heat waves in the distance. And Siam was just gross and disgusting. So I'll just talk about it now, why I don't like Siam. Like, getting around is kind of hard. You don't really know where you're going until like you learn the map. And even the map they give you isn't that explanatory. But in the Vatican, it had versatility. You were pretty much going up on rooftops, through buildings. In Giza, it was just a big, wide desert with some camps, some pyramids, some warrior places. Siam was just a riverbed. You had a boat to get around, which is always easier. But if you lost the boat, good luck. You can only get the boat back by either going to find it or going to a outpost area. And this made me thought they could have added fast travel anywhere in the game. They do have it, but you have to go to these certain waypoints to fast travel to a certain location. You just could have just opened the map, say like, I want to go here, go here. Just teleport from wherever you are. Just make that in the game. And also, it kind of made me wish there was something in the other two places where you could get around easier. In Giza, you could have had a camel just to get around the big desert area. Vatican, it was a little difficult since you were going up and down, but you could have had a bicycle, at least. But now the gameplay was good. I liked it. Combat was pretty good. Just Indy throwing fists, pulling out guns, using his whip, which was really fun to use. Or takedowns, or disarms, or even swinging around. And all the melee weapons, you just pick anything up, you can use it. From like a cast iron can to a fly swatter to just a guitar. It was just fun to use. And also, the enemies actually show damage to them, which I just love to see. And obviously, if it's an Indiana Jones story, you need puzzles to solve. And they're pretty good for solving these ancient puzzles of like opening this stone door that was built 10,000 years ago, which I don't know how they engineered back then. And there are small puzzles too, like decipher this code to open this chest. There was also skills they had for books, but there wasn't really that much variety. It was mostly just increase your health, increase your carry supply, increase your damage. There's only one really unique one, Lucky Hat, which just gave you an extra life. I think they could have maybe added some more unique ones. And also the side content was pretty fun too. While most of the side missions have escaped my memory, because I did all of them, there were a few standouts. Specifically,
Come with me, I need a confession. Please have a seat. You're forgiven.
Father, wait, I didn't confess yet.
Hurry, let's get this over with.
Father, forgive me because I've sinned. I had an affair with my mother-in-law and...
It's all right. Just say 3 Hail Marys.
No, Father, you don't understand. My wife is expecting a child and I fear that...
What?
Yeah, let me finish, please. I fear that my mother-in-law is with the child also.
Jesus Christ, what have you done?
Wait. You are not a priest.
Screw it. Sorry, pal, but you kind of deserved it.
It was just the start of the mission, which had nothing to do with it. And there was also this guy who lost his student, not once, but twice. Maybe could have been 3 times in Siam. I don't know why they just didn't do the rolls of 3 here. They did do the rolls of 3 for this medicine, for these fight clubs. There was a lot of repeat stuff, which I get, because there was just repeat items like medicine to get more books, to learn more skills. But it was just the same story. We lost our medicine, they took it from us. Can you go get it from us, please? And really, the other side missions were just, hey, solve this little riddle to find this cool artifact, or hey, go help this person because they need help. That's pretty much it. The performances, they were really good. Troy Baker did an amazing job as Indy.
Christy, messenger of Christ, patron of the fallen angels, protector of the Chukuimani, the Great Circle. You have any idea how old that was?
I was going like, oh, Harrison Ford's getting paid to say this when he said this guy did a great job. He actually did. It did feel like a young Harrison Ford. Bad guy boss, I thought he was actually a good bad guy. Compared to most of the indie movies, he was just an archaeologist who wanted to solve this, at the same time get the power. I felt like he had a respect to Indy that no one else really had. I thought Gina was an okay character. Her story was fine. I thought they weren't gonna get like romantically involved. They do. I feel like they should have just not. Because they both had like their own goals. They should have just stuck to those goals, but then they fell in love and like any other Indiana Jones story. Also, I just hate AI characters or AI companions. They're like, hey, get down. Meanwhile, they're just walking across the main room in front of all the bad guys, where it's like, you're breaking the immersion. At least she did fight with you, you know? She took out a couple guys. When I had the first fight with Locust, he was running at me and scared the shit out of me, and then Gina took him on, and I just let her do that while I was healing. And now, even though this wasn't made by Bethesda, it was published, it might as well have been because of all the bugs. There's a few odd ones where it's like characters clipping through walls or just like random things happening. But there was one really bad one because in the game you can travel back to locations to go pick up the rest of the collectibles and whatever. You also have disguises. I didn't talk about that. There was disguises where you can easily get around areas where there are guards who won't notice you. Some might. It's like Hitman, you know. All my disguises were broken when I went back to the Vatican. I don't know what caused it. I don't know why. Even wearing a priest outfit in the middle of the road, guards were like, get him! I'm like, what the hell happened? No real game-breaking bugs, but that one kind of bothered me just because of trying to do all the collectibles. At the same time, they also clearly cared about this game. I mean, they remade the first scene from Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, pretty much shot for shot, and that was really good. From Alfred Molina to the Boulder Chase. Well, the Boulder Chase worked out a little bit differently here, but...
Damn it, don't you leave me down here by myself!
You know, throw me the whip, give me the idol, all that jumbo. And also the music was great. Sounded like John Williams. They used the score a lot, which was awesome. The action cutscenes were also really fun. I feel like they could have maybe added 1 or 2 more like chase scenes. That's what's fun in the indie movies. Like when he's fighting the tank in The Last Crusade. Or even in the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, the whole race through the jungle. Wow, it looked like shit. The action was cool there. You know, except for that monkey part. But in this one, you had the plane takeovers in Shanghai, which was really cool to see. And you had the boat ride down the Himalaya mountains. But that was mostly it for like cool action, fun chases. And then in Siam, where you're escaping with Locust, but I just hate Siam. I also kind of wish they would just have given this a different title. When I first heard it, Indiana Jones and The Great Circle. That title sounds like shit. I mean, Great Circle, it's the mythos of what you're trying to look for, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more or changed it. You know, you had Raiders of the Lost Ark, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, Dial of Destiny, The Last Crusade. It could have been like The Mystery of the Great Circle, or The Secret Order of the Nephilim, or The Hunt for the Cat Mummy. I feel like Great Circle is just like, oh, that's it? Discovery of the Great Circle. I feel like there just has to be a word in front of the Great Circle, and then like of or the. Just something. A little bit more spice. Just a couple more things I forgot to mention while recording this video that just kind of pissed me off. This giant snake. How can somebody with a fear of snakes possibly stand up and fight this thing? Indy could barely feed this baby snake that was in the wall's tent, but is okay fighting a 2-ton weighing snake. Okay. And also this puzzle room. How can Indy not fit through these bars? You're telling me this fit man can't easily slide through them, or even grab his whip and pull the artifact through it? An easy solution for this could have been just making a better secured wall, but this just looks like 2x4s. And yeah, that's pretty much what I thought about it. It was a fun game with some issues. So, yeah, that's about it. And now it's time for the ranking. Look at this mega list here. Yeah, I love Silent Hill 2, so this is going at number 2. But also at the same time, I have to figure out where it goes in the tier list. While I did have fun, there were some issues. It's going to B tier. And what I'm going to try and do here is get a game in each category first. So I need an S tier game, a C tier, a D tier, and an F tier. Just so you have an understanding of how I think about games and or what I would consider a B tier game. And yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Sorry it took so long. I was just still trying to figure this out. Yeah, hopefully you all liked it. See you next time.